Now, in recent weeks and days, there's been uh, a young man, a young American missionary trending. His name is Alex Barber, and he's been trending because he came to Nigeria to do humanitarian work. He's been rebuilding homes for displaced people. I know that I first saw him when he was rebuilding homes in Yelwata in Benue State, which you all know was the scene of horrific massacre of 200 plus people in a single night. Now, some people have been accusing him of all kinds of things. Some people say he's a CIA agent. Some people say he's a terrorist. Some even said he was behind the violence that occurred in Jos earlier this week, just because they say he got to the scene pretty quickly, that he must have been behind it. Now, these people who are saying this thing have no reason to say this other than the fact that he's speaking up against terrorism and they are clearly in support of terrorism. So let's take a look at what this young man said, and you decide whether or not he qualifies to be called a terrorist.
Tinubu, where are you? As your people are slaughtered in the night, as you sit in Aso Rock and you do absolutely nothing, you allow your people to be killed again and again and again and again. When will it stop? When will you hear the cries of Nigerians, of Christians? You can no longer deny genocide. They're being slaughtered. And you say there's no issue. You will regret what you are doing. When I first arrived in Nigeria, I arrived to ambushes in Miango, people being killed right by military barracks and checkpoints. Ezekiel was burned and 50 people killed. Since my time in Nigeria, I cannot come here and not experience killing. People ask, how was I so quick to go to the scene there in Jos? When people are massacred 10 minutes from your hotel, it doesn't take long to go. I could walk to the scene. And so we see killing, 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 killing.
So you walked there. You're not afraid that you could be killed as well?
I drove. But I had no fear because I knew that at that point, Christians were there. The Muslims that came in, they had killed those people there innocently. And I knew that the scene was still tense, but it was calm because I knew that if something were to happen, you have 500 Christians sitting there together, we'll be unified. These attacks are clearly planned. It's not just simply ambushing and killing one people or two people, but when you look at Barkinladi, you look at Pokos, in the villages when they attacked on Christmas Eve, you have thousands of fighters that attack in unison, countless villages all at the same time. This is not just some random criminality if someone decides to take their gun that they have with a shotgun or whatever it is and go to a village and just kill somebody. This is war being waged on people. And I know Frank talked about war. If there's no war in Nigeria, what is happening? In every state, you have security forces deployed everywhere. In every state, you have people that are being killed, both Christian and Muslim. And if that's not war, what is war? War is at home right now in Nigeria. Forget talking about anywhere else in the world or Iran or the Middle East. Right now, people are being massacred across Nigeria. Even in Kwara. I was in Kwara to go rebuild Waro village 3 weeks ago. That's why I came to Nigeria, to rebuild for primarily Muslims. The chairman, the governor, and security forces, they said no. They said it's a little bit too risky for you right now to build. I haven't heard from them. But we went there. Muslims were killed. They came in the night and they destroyed everything. They even just blew up a bomb recently. In Niger, Zamfara, and Sokoto, all these places, you have hundreds of fighters that are coming and killing people, killing villages, burning and stealing and taking over everything. How is that not coordinated?
So there you have it. All he's saying is people are getting killed and it should stop. He does mention Christians a lot. There's nothing wrong with that. That is what is happening. But at some point, he also mentioned that Muslims were getting killed. And he also mentioned that he was he went to rebuild homes for Muslims. And he was not given the best of receptions from the authorities, apparently. So you see, this young man has done nothing wrong. We have real terrorists out there. And then you come and you label someone who's just speaking out against terrorism. That's who you label a terrorist? What kind of people are you? It's crazy. Truth is uncomfortable. And Alex merely spoke the uncomfortable truth. War has been declared on Nigerians. But most of us would rather pretend that nothing is happening and stick our head in the sand like an ostrich. It's not going to go away. That's the reality. We just don't want to face the reality of it. War has been declared by these terrorists. That's the reality of it. And anyone who says so is either just in denial or he's in support of them. It's one of those two things, really. Listen, he didn't tell anyone to go kill anyone. In fact, the time when he mentioned Muslims, he actually mentioned that he had gone to Kwara to rebuild homes of Muslims who had been destroyed by terrorists. I noticed that this is quite disturbing. I noticed that there are a lot of closet terrorists. That's what I'm going to call them. That's a person who is not actually part of a terrorist group, but is a firm supporter of theirs. And a lot of people who do this thing do it on the basis of religion. You know, the same way some people might vote for a particular candidate because they practice the same religion. Well, these folks are on the side on the is firmly on the side of the terrorists just because they practice the same religion. They don't understand that a terrorist is no one's friend. And if they were to catch you, it doesn't matter whether you practice the same religion as them or not. As long as you are not one of their gang, you would probably get likely get the same treatment which they give everyone else. I have this friend, Alaji Yusuf. He's from Borno, and he was telling me one day how this was in Abuja. He was telling me one day he had to travel from Abuja to Borno. I said, why are you traveling?" He said, his brother had just died. I said, "What happened to him?" He said, "Well, my brother was killed by Boko Haram." Hmm. So I said, um, these people who, because he comes from the area where Boko Haram was operating. So I asked him, I said, these terrorists, when they attack a settlement, what do they say they're there for? What do they tell the people they're attacking? I expect that, you point a gun at someone, you're going to say, okay, this is who I am, this is why I'm here. Like if you're here to rob them, you say, okay, hand over your valuables, right? So what do they say? He said, they don't say anything. Now, while we were talking, we're sitting outside. And he said, you see how we're sitting outside here? He said, well, if they were to show up here right now, the first thing they would do is kill everybody they see. They wouldn't ask questions. I said, what if you're a Muslim? He said, nope, no difference. He said, even if they catch you in the middle of prayer on your prayer mat, as long as you are not one of them, they would eliminate you. So a lot of people have this misguided sense of loyalty to religion, such that when people from their religious group do horrible things, they deny it or support it. And the number of people I've seen doing that is appalling. It is shocking. People who you would think would know better. I saw a young lady who made a video the other day after the killings in Jos, and she was talking, vying for peace and everything. But you know, one of the first things she said in that video, she said, Christians have already decided that it was Muslims killing Christians. And she said everything she could have possibly said, but never once did she condemn the act, the murders that were committed. Not once did she condemn it. It is as if people are more concerned about the image of their religion than they are about people who do horrible things, people they don't even know, who they somehow feel obligated to support. So this young man, Alex Barber, was a college football player for 2 seasons, um, a medical officer in the U.S. Military Reserve Corps, a remarkable young man in any way you look at it. And he left his comfort zone to come here and help people. And just because all he said was that our government has failed to protect its people, which is true. It's true. That's basically what he's been saying. And some people have a problem with that. And I sit back and think to myself, what do these people really want? What do they want? Where do these people even come from? Are they Nigerians? Are they even human? Do they have a heart? Or there's a rock where their hearts should be? I mean, some of the videos out there are heartbreaking. Like the one of the woman holding her child who had been shot, repeatedly saying, "My son is not dead, my son is not dead," while holding a dead body in her arms. If that doesn't touch you, then you probably have a rock where your heart should be, quite honestly. They don't complain about the terrorists, they say nothing about the terrorists, but they're complaining about somebody who's called out our government for not protecting his people, somebody who's rebuilding homes for people who have been displaced, and nobody's paying him for it. He's doing all this just to help. Now I'm hearing that he's been told to leave the country. I don't know if that's true or not, because a lot of people were spreading false rumors saying that he had been arrested, which of course is not true. But as of today, I saw a couple of posts saying that. We'll look into it to find to see if that's actually true. Nigerians, we should do better. We really should do better. All these religious extremists, they are the main problem. And if you support them, then you are part of the problem as well. Alex Barber is not the problem. They're saying that he came here and he came here to turn Christians and Muslims against each other. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. This conflict started way before in fact, this conflict probably started before his grandfather was born. So how could it be that he is the cause of this? Stop being ridiculous.